Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the third video of this playlist. We're still making the IP tracking website. In this video, I'm going to cover the JavaScript and how to deploy the site. But before I get started, I am going to just change the color of this H1 element because it is blending in with my background. So I'm going to give it a text color or a text black, and this text color or this text black makes our color of our H1 black. And after that, I'm going to make a JavaScript. Actually, you probably see .vs code, and that's a folder. And this folder does nothing. It only changes the port that I'm on. So I made it 3000. The other ports are normally I believe it's 550. Oh yeah, 5500. That is the default one. And if that is full or that is being used, then I'll make a 5501. Or if that's being used, to so on and so on. But I made mine 3000, right? And that is because my live server keeps reloading and reloading and reloading, and my JavaScript keeps making new fetches to the API, and the API blocks, I guess, every fetch I make because there's a limit. I'll show you guys, so let me get into the video yet. So making index.javascript, and then I'm going to connect this right here, this source one, because it creates a script tag that has source inside of it, and this is where we put the name of our JavaScript, which is right here. And then going in here, I'm going to grab two HTML elements, the input and the button. So make two variables. The first one is the search button, and the second one is the search bar. And the search button equals the document document.get element by ID, and we're getting this ID right here, right there. And then we're going to do the same for the S bar. Control D selects whatever looks like the one you're selecting. So document, I copy that, Control D. There is no next document, so it goes all the way back, and there is a document up there. And then we're going to get the button. We're going to add an event listener to the button, and this event listener checks if our button is being clicked, and if it is being clicked, or if it is clicked, then it's gonna run this function. This is an arrow function, and this is the thing I was missing in my JavaScript, the arrow functions. And I was also missing, I believe, fetch, but you could use XHR. So I'm going to fetch data from a site, and this is an API provider, this IP who is .app, and they have a folder JSON. This folder is called JSON, and this is our API endpoint, basically where we enter from our API. If you search this up, it will give you your IP and where you're staying. So if that IP is located in Canada, I'll give it to you, and if that IP is in United States, it'll give that to you, or so on and so on. It'll like give you information about the IP and where it is pinged from. And if you add numbers, these numbers are considered to be the IP right here, 9.6.7.8. Yeah, and it gives you the IP. This was successful, so it's the success stuff. The success is equal to true, and then it gives us the type of IP, which is IPv4, the continent of where the IP is located, North America, continent code, so on and so on. The important thing is that it gives us a country flag, and that country flag is an image which you can search up. So Control C, right there. Control V, search this up, and ta-da! It gives us United States, just like I said, North America. So every time that button is clicked, we also want to get whatever our user entered here, which is the search bar. So we can get the search bar, and we don't want to get the whole entire search bar because that's a HTML element. We want to get the value of it, meaning we want to get the text inside of here, right? And then we get a response, and this response equals this response should be turned into, or should be JSON, and then that, when it's JSON, it'll give us data. And I'm going to take this data, I'm not going to actually console.log it, I'm going to just distribute it to my, I'm also going to take it as a parameter, I'm going to distribute it to my, I guess, these elements right here. The first one is IP, it has an ID of IP, and the next is region that has the ID of region, so on and so on. So I'm going to get each one of these first. Document right there, .get element by ID and the IP, and now I'm going to paste in the rest, which is getting the region, the country, city, organization, and the flag. This flag, the source of this flag will equal the content, which is data dot country flag and this dot inner HTML, the inner HTML of the IP, when the button is clicked, should equal, it should say IP, and then in there I'm going to add right here B and another B right here, and then right here is the data dot IP. And just to let you guys know that I'm not going to be showing you guys this in my browser because I have reached my monthly limit, and that is only for my I guess local server, and that's it, not this. On my website it still works. I'm gonna search 5.5.5 and it should return a country. Oh, look at that, that's Germany. But this tracker does not work. Yeah, okay, this is the one. So this, I'm gonna just try and search. Yeah, I'm gonna try and search 6.6.6. Search this, and as you can see, I can't load the resource, and mainly because the data returned is status false, and it returns a message, and the message is you have reached your monthly limit. That's why I'm not going to be able to show my, I guess my results. But we can still do the project. I mean, you guys will be able to see your own projects or your own results, but I won't be able to see mine. I've already built this, so I'm alright with it. So we've got the source, and you're going to notice that once the image has loaded in, it's going to be either stretched or very wide, and we don't want that to be so we're going to style its height to auto, meaning if it's like 100 pixels wide, then it's gonna automatically adjust so that it fits and it's not too stretched or widened. And the scroll to thing is like this. So you write the image or the element that you want to scroll to, and then you write dot scroll to view, which is right here. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't want it to scroll down every time. I'm actually getting tired of this, like this, where it scrolls you down. I don't want it to do that. So in this project I'm creating with you, you have the option of doing this if you want or not. And I'm also going to separate this and call it image or flag data. You have the option. These ones, or this data I'm writing, will not be on GitHub. This one will be on GitHub. So what -ip.netlify.app will be the one on GitHub, and that is my GitHub right there. So yeah, now we have gotten the IP, and we don't want the region being the IP as well. So I'm gonna Control D and then write region. Make this one capital, and then make this country, and make this one country capital. Control D, and this will be city, and I'm gonna make this one capital. I also have the organization, so I'm gonna write org like that. Org like that. Now just to show you, it says a dot right now. When I search the data, it says undefined. That's okay. It's not supposed to say undefined, but that's okay because when I request to this, it returns the data. I'm gonna just console.log this data, and you'll see with me that this data, I clicked on it, this data says console. I spelled it wrong. It's supposed to be console like that. So I'm gonna just search it up, and it says right there, message, you've hit the monthly limit, no more access for you. No, it doesn't say no more access for you, but yeah, I did reach the limit. And that is because every time, let's say I add a space to my file, this reloads, or I remove something, it reloads, meaning every few seconds, every time I make a change, every few seconds, it's just like reloading and making a new fetch. And I'm not only fetching stuff outside of the button, I'm also searching it, because I don't want my user to only search, but I want them to get their what do you call it? I want them to get their IP as well. So I don't want them to just be able to search, right? I want them to actually, when they come to my site, I want them to the JavaScript to fetch an API, and this API will be this right here, right? It'll be this, and when you search this up as a normal URL, it's gonna give you your IP, right? It's gonna give you your IP, your current IP, the one you're on, your IP, and then relative to your IP, it's gonna give you where you're living, like what country you're living, the city, yeah, and all that, and the territory or province or even, you know, continent. So yeah, so it gives you that data. So every time my user reloads, I want it to get him, their, or her, their IP, the region, country, city, and organization. But then when they search and they press search, I want it to get the image. Oh, that looks very sick. But yeah, I want it to get my image, or to get the data that they've searched for. So this is basically the whole entire JavaScript. We have it all done. And just to show you guys, actually no, I can't show you guys. Search 123, 123 does not exist. And it returns the same. Yeah, if you want to learn more about their API, I would recommend you go to their website, which is right here. I'm not gonna go there because they actually do end up tracking your IP, and they'll just like display my IP and where I'm living and all that, and I don't want to be pinged. So yeah, that's it. The whole entire JavaScript. Now to deploy your site, it's actually a lot easier than writing the JavaScript, right? It's a lot easier because it's a matter of dragging and dropping. So I'm going to close out of this, and you want to navigate to netlify.app, and it's going to log me in automatically. As you can see on the URL thing, yeah, I'm automatically logged in. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. I'm going to open this. It opened in my other monitor right here. I dragged it in, and ta-da! So this is our website. This is our website. We have this .vs code, and it has settings.json, and that is for our live server, so we can delete that. So that setting.json, it had a variable that had a number, and that number would be the port that it opens in on our local machine, not on Netlify. So we're using Netlify to deploy our site. Right, it is very simple. Once you get to this option, if you don't have an account, I would sign up for one. And once you're logged in or you're signed up, you would probably be on this page, because this is the home page, and it might say drag and drop file here. Then you should drag and drop. But if it doesn't say so, then you should go into add new, or you can go to sites, which shows all the sites that you have deployed. So I have a couple. You can import an existing project, meaning you can import it from Github, but I'm assuming you guys don't have this project on Github. So you're gonna want to deploy manually and not from a template. So you wanna deploy manually right here, and it says drag and drop. Yep, so we're gonna just drag, and you don't want to drag each individual. That won't work. What's gonna work is if they're all in one folder or directory. So right there, and it says, right, this is our URL. We can just click on it right there, and it takes us to our website. And as you can see, it's working because I already told you my local host, or my live server, the one that I'm on, right? My local machine was making requests, multiple requests to the API, and that made it reach the monthly limit. But the monthly limit is so much, and I'm assuming you guys are like one person and not like a multiple person team, and so you guys are not that famous, right? You're not gonna have like 100 billion people, right? There isn't 100 billion. You're not gonna have like 100,000 people on your site reloading and trying to look for the IP. No, I'm assuming you guys are like, I guess, JavaScript developers or upcoming JavaScript developers. So yeah. So going to deploys, right? You're in site overview. You're going to go to deploys, and you can see it. This is the production. If you want to make an update, need a new update, or need to update your site, then you drag and drop your folders in here, like so, right there. But I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is change the deploy settings, or actually the deploy settings. So if you're in the site view, the site overview, then you can go to the domain settings, and then options, edit name. This name is way too long, so I'm going to change it to IP. I know IP. I know IP. Right there. So now this won't work, as you can see, but what will work is IP, or I know ip.netlify.app, and we have it all done. I'm going to search up 7.7.7, search this up, go down, and we get IP 7.7.7.7, District of Columbia, United States, Washington, DoD, Network Information Center. So yeah, that's good. This is not bad. So now that we're done,